What must I do to have eternal life? That is a question that has been asked for hundreds and thousands of years. People have contemplated that, studied that, trying to figure out what must I do to go to heaven and to have eternal life. And this question was raised back in Matthew chapter 19, verse 16 through 19 verses 16 to 22, where we have a story of a young man who's extremely wealthy and comes to Jesus, and he wants to know, what must I do to have eternal life? And chapter 19 verse 16, it says, just then a man came up to Jesus and asked, Teacher, what good thing must I do to get eternal life? So he's coming to Jesus and he's like, what good can I do? What must I do? What kind of work can I do to be saved and have eternal life? And Jesus looks at him and answers this very quickly and says, why do you ask me about what is good? Jesus replied, there is only one who is good. If you want to enter life, keep the commandments. So the rich man comes and he says, what good can I do? So he's actually coming at him and saying, I want to do some work. What work can I do to be saved and have eternal life? And Jesus is looking at him and saying, first of all, there's no one that's good enough. There's no one good. There's only one person that's good, and that's God, and that's myself. So you're on the wrong path here. So he's telling him, there's only one who is good. If you want to enter life, keep the commandments. So then he replies, which ones? He inquired. And then Jesus replied, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony, honor your father and mother, and love your neighbor as yourselves. So if you remember, the commandments are in two parts. They're the 10 commandments. They're the part that love your neighbor as yourself, which is basically what Jesus is describing here with all the different commandments. Honor your father and mother, do not lie, do not covet, do not murder. And then there's the laws for the loving of God. Keep the Sabbath day, make it holy, honoring God, loving God. But in this part, he's talking about the second part, the love thy neighbor as yourself. So he looks at him and says, all of these I have kept, the young man said. What do I still lack? And then Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven. Then come, follow me. And then when the young man heard this, he went away sad because he had great wealth. So after Jesus said, give your money to the land, he looked at him and left because he just couldn't do it. That was too hard for him to give his wealth. And that's what Jesus was trying to prove. He was looking at this young man at this point, knowing what his first love was. For him, it was money. He loved money so much, and this was what was keeping him from God. His love for money. He was putting money above his love for God. So he wanted to see him, to have them see that how difficult it was, and for his disciples that it doesn't matter how good you are, only Jesus can save you. Only because of what Christ did on the cross is what he can save you. And that's what the disciples kind of looked at, and when they saw this, they said in verse 25, when the disciples heard this, they were greatly astonished and asked, who then can be saved? And that's basically what we have to understand is it's not because of us. It's not what we can do. We can be the best people in the world and be like Mother Teresa or Billy Graham, but it doesn't matter. It matters because of what Christ did. And that's what Jesus answered at the end. Jesus looked at them and said, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. And because of what God can do, and because of how he is perfect, we can have eternal life. It's not what we can do, it's because of what Christ can do. it says in the Bible that all our good deeds are like filthy rags. We can never be good enough, no matter what we do, no matter what we do, say, or how we act. We can never be good enough to have eternal life. It's because of what Christ can do. And to do that, we need to understand that our first love has to be God. And for the rich man, it was money, but for other people, it could be your family, it could be your house, it could be your job, it could be having the love of on social media or what have you, the likes and the clicks and all this stuff. Those could be our first love, but we have to put all that beneath Christ if we want to have eternal life. And if we want to be disciples of Jesus, we have to understand that our first love has to be God, and everything else has to come below. And because of what Jesus did on the cross, we can have eternal life. It's not what we can do, but what he does for us. And I hope you remember that it doesn't matter how good you are, it's only because of Jesus that we can have eternal life. God bless you.